All right, we shouldn't need this, and that should be on here. Let me see here really quickly. Why are do not disturb. Ah, great. Okay. So allow me to do some more parser combinators. This is what I was reading. I'm going to try and redo this, but in Scala, because it's a lot easier. Less overload when you're thinking about stuff like boxes and like lifetimes and that stuff. Doesn't make it fun to do in Rust. So I'm going to do it in Scala. This is Kotlin. That's not what I want. Let me go to Scala and get started here. So, first of all, you want the very basic parser. Right? We have this object, it's a parser. These are like the static methods, right? So, define from stir, which takes a string and turns and gives you back a parser, which is also going to need to be a class. Right, so here you have the class parser. Gives you back a parser. And it's going to want to give you a function that'll check if a string starts with another string. So actually, I'm not... it's probably okay. Val function, which takes a string into parser. Is that right? Takes a string and returns a t, which we don't know, right? So it's a generic class. And let's call this parse. So then the way that would be used is main def hello. What this will do is you would have a parser like this. You would say val my parser equals parser, which takes, let's say you have a function which always returns a I don't know, a 1, say. That's a valid parser. And then you would do my parser.parse hello, and it'll always give you 1, right? So, but let me comment this out and then just do that. You should get 1. Right, so that part's simple. Already this would have required a lot more code to do in Rust. So that's nice. Now, with that said, you would now want a function that will have a parser. And from string, right? So let me think about what that would look like. You want a function that will consume the beginning of it, I believe. Match literal, right? And it's not going to return anything. So it's going to return a parser of nothing. Or parser of unit, I think would be the better way to write that. And what it's going to do I'm going to call it this. This is going to give you back a parser with the following function. So, parser text in this, right? So right now this will compile. It's not going to do anything, but say you have 1, right? So now this is parser.stir, say, h. It's going to give you a 1. No, it's going to give you nothing. Forgot about that. Right, this gets implicitly casted into nothing. Yeah. So with that said, you want it to... right, so this can't return an A. This needs to return a perhaps A. So parse result of A. And a type parse result of A is... or let me do this as an enum here. It's either a success, right, with the value, you have case success. Okay, let me look enum syntax. Scala. Okay, why is the text bugging here? Okay. Enum. Okay, what's up with that? Okay, I trust Stack Overflow for this one. Come on. Hello? Can you Java enum in Scala? It's not what I want. Oh my goodness. ADT, give me ADT stuff. Where's the enum keyword? Case, okay. Yes, there we go. That's how you would do algebraic. Then, okay, so we don't need val here, it turns out. Result unit. Right. So it's either a success with a value of do I want to do index here or slice? Yeah, I'm just gonna do slice, and we're gonna see if it's slow. Hopefully it isn't. You have the rest of it, which is a string, and then you have the output, which is an A. And then you also have case failure, which is so that should work. Let me get rid of this. And then let me always make it always return parse result there dot success. Right. So this here, you wanted to see if it starts with that string. If text dot starts with str. Let me call this needle and haystack just so we're clear, because that's generally what people would call it. If haystack starts with the needle, then this, else this. Why is the W not capitalized? Else it's a parse result dot failure haystack. And here, okay, capitalize it, whatever. Here it's a parse result dot success needle dot substring and nothing, right? The needle dot substring, no, haystack dot substring needle dot length. That should work. if I capitalize this. So there you have it. That's a very simple string parser thingy. And what that will do now is that here, blah, okay, this has to be val, whatever. What happens here is yes. So now it'll use up the h, and it'll give you back the rest of it. And if you were to say put he, it would use up the h and give you back the rest of it, right? So nothing wrong with that. Now, if you were to use up something like high, that would fail. You would get a failure with the whole string. And that's good. Let me double check here that this, yeah, there you go. Very nicely done. Very pretty stuff. Now we can get to the fun bits. Paste stack, start with needle, bang. Now, let me make a character version 2. No, character version is actually not really necessary. So now, this is where you get to the interesting bits. You start combining them. So this is really the only parser you like actually need. I'm pretty sure, at least. Then you're going to start adding other stuff, right? So, and by the way, I'm going to try and do what this person did, which is to parse XML, basically. So let me try and separate this into files, first of all. Scala main, okay. So new class, and let's call it Parser, which is a class. So then import forgot the path. What's this again? Build Scala 3. Okay, well this should still work. I think it can still figure that out. So I'm going to split it across files, and then I'm going to also make a XML. XML tag, say. And the way this is going to work is it's going to have name. Or in fact, a case class this is, with a name, which is a string. Let me think here really quickly. You have a name, you have properties, which is a map. Where the map at? That's where maps exist. Map of string to string. Okay, well, where is it? Where's map at? Hello. Oh, then suddenly it works. Okay, brilliant. And then you have I'm going to call this XML element. Let me rename. Where's the refactor? Rename XML element. And then you have your sub elements, which is a sequence of XML elements. So there you go. There's your data. Should be immutable for the most part. So this is basically all immutable stuff, which is good when you're dealing with data structures. And then I'm also going to, no, I'm not even going to give it anything. This is all it is for right now. So let me go and get started with Parser. And the first thing you want are, if I'm not mistaken, left and right methods. I'm not going to do that. The first one I think I want to do is optional. Right, so that will take a parser and give you back a new parser. So optional, which gives you back a parser for the same A, right? Just to be sure, equals, okay, so it's going to give you a parser which takes a haystack. Let me think about how this would work. It would just never, first of all, an optional would never give you back an error, right? So if it is an error, it should, okay. So it will do self or this, right, dot parse. It should parse the haystack. Dot, and then match that. Do I really need these braces, I wonder? Yeah, let me remove some of these braces. Okay. Okay, so if it's a parse result dot success with the rest in the value, then let me think about this. Should optional make it return an option string? Or what? Okay, where's the optional at? Hello. So then that is definitely a question. What does an optional thing return? I feel like it should just return an option of the A. Right? So I feel like this should be a parser that returns an option of A and not A. So it'll take the rest in the value. If that's true, it will, okay. So if it's a failure, it will take the unparsed and give you a parse result dot success of the unparsed and none, right? But if it's a success with the rest in the value, and then it will wrap that in a, excuse me, oh, forgot the case keyword. Hate that keyword. What the heck is that? Okay. There we go. So that should be an optional parser. then let me see what happens when I .optional.parse it. Oops, I clicked the format key. You should get the hello, but say this was hey, as they say in like Sweden, I don't know. Should still get my hello with none. And that seems good. Seems nice. Now, another thing I should probably write here is map. Right, map. What that does is it takes a function which will turn for, okay, it has a b. What happened there? It takes a function, transform here, which turns an a into a b, and that will spit you back a parser that will give you b. And the way that works is how does that work? Well, basically, if it's a success, it will give you, okay, yeah, yeah, that works. Okay, this dot parse haystack dot match. Okay, thank you. Rest transform value. Yeah, so here this, it doesn't really like this, but that's okay, I guess. Bit annoying that it can't like do that on its own, but that's fine. So you have optional and then you have mapped. And what I mean by this is first of all, I feel like this function, sure, should give you back a string, because I fail to see how it could ever be useful to give someone back like nothing. Just give them back the string they asked for. I feel like that would help when it comes to like optionals and stuff. So now I should get, okay, this should still be hello none. If I were to do this though, I should get exclamation mark comma hello. Some hello, of course, since this is optional. Now if I were to do this, it would no longer be optional. So that's certainly a thing. Now let me try. So we did map. This was map, by the way. So bit shorter to write it in Scala. And even this stuff does not have to be this long. I'm going to rename this parsed just because. It's nicer and longer. That's very much a good thing. Required parse result. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Not a thing, bud. There we go. Parse.failure. Okay. That's just a bit nicer to look at. Also, one other thing I do kind of want to do is make an end parser. should be fairly easy. Def end, which gives you back a parser of nothing. This one truly has no useful information, for sure. It's a parser which returns a haystack, and if the haystack is empty, then parsed.success of empty string, comma, nothing really, because again, not useful. Else parsed.failure empty string, because again, oh wait, no, a haystack. Yeah. This looks good. So that's your end parser. And that will only ever work if it's at the end. Only if it's at the end. So that's definitely something cool. So there's optional. Now, I feel like you would want ranged. So this is where it gets funny. You would want ranged. Ranged, which is a function that takes two numbers. Min, which is an int, max, which is an int, equals, I don't even know. What should the max be? I mean, technically it should just be int.max value. I feel like that's what it should be. Okay, so this is how it will look, and it will give you back a parser of a sequence of A's. And here's how that will look. Again, a parser that takes a haystack, but this time, trickery. Not obviously one, that's obviously not gonna type check. Let me put a triple question mark here. What's with my syntax? Is my syntax bugging? There we go. So now, that is repeated. And so basically, it will want to use self, or this parser, and keep parsing at least min times. If it is not able to parse min times, that's an error, right? And then it will keep parsing up to max. And if it fails until there, that's not a problem. It will just return with what it's done so far. So then I guess the easiest way to do this would be in a declarative style. And what I mean by that is mutable sequence. Array buffer, I think, in particular, unless I can think of something better here. Maybe you could do it with a fold. I'll try without it first of all. Let me think here what's up. Let me think here. You would want to kind of fold it. Okay. Yeah. Should in theory be doable. But it would just be easier to write it in the non-magic-y way. So var string equals haystack, right? to begin with, that's your haystack. Now what happens next is you'll try to apply the parser to the string. So for I in 0 through the max, for I in 0 to max. So first of all, I'm just going to print line I, because I'm not 100% sure whether this is exclusive or not. My parser dot repeated 5 times to 10. First number is not going to matter here. Implementation is missing. So this is actually inclusive, which is important to know because that doesn't mean 10 times. This should be until max do print line I. Yeah. Yeah, seems about right. Now, given that, you would want to repeatedly take the right. So if I is less than the minimum, okay, I see kind of what you do here. So then, parse this dot parse the string match. Okay, if it's a success, parse dot success with some like rest in the value, then okay, var matches equals hello, why are you mad at me here? Case clause did I always forget that? Okay, anyway, parse the string. If you have the rest in your value, right? If you have the rest in your value, take it and push the value to the values, right? I think that's all you would have to do. Oh, and also, right, string would be the new rest. Very buffer phase. Now, otherwise, if it's a failure, right? Now, if you have a failure, if you have a failure with the unparsed and your I is greater than min, let's just do it this way. If I is less than your minimum, then you need to break, return an error. Parse.failure with the unparsed. Or in fact, the very original haystack, right? Because you failed. Else, break. Found parse.failure I. A required parser. Else question mark, question mark, question mark. What do you want me here? Okay, well that works. First of all, why is A squared? I assume that means A too. Found a parse.failure and required a parser. It's giving you a parser, is it not? Where is this returning from? Excuse me? Why is this bugging out a bit? Why is there not a camera? Huh, weird. Anyway. Return a failure. Is this returning from like inside the match statement? Because that's not good if so. And how would you write this better? Hmm. Well, this is kind of bamboozling, to be honest. required parser sequence array, and that's what I'm giving it. Why is this a parser sequence of A? Wait, but yeah, there's definitely something screwy here. Because here, this, like, if I did this here, that would be fine. No? Well, how is this okay then? Hmm. What exactly does it think I am here? Parser which takes a haystack and returns a parsed array, and that's what we're doing right here. So why is it being weird? Like, why is it doing that? Right, I think this is what I'm looking for here. Weird. Well, there must be a way to design this that doesn't require that. I'm sure the way they did it here is Okay, what exactly did it do here? Yeah, it had to return in an if statement. In this case, that kind of works because well, I will continue to work on this and I will stream another time.